Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I've been quite busy today. I went and looked at some land, had an interview with the podcast, and I just wanted to bring this up. What does ownership really look like in 2020? We're moving really fast towards an asset-based society, a skills-based society, and people get angry when you say that. You'll no longer be paid to just show up somewhere. And we have a lot of people in society who think, hey, I showed up for my 40 hours. I should be paid. I should have big booty Betty. I should be able to go take vacations once a month. I should be able to live in a very nice house. Doesn't matter that I just make sandwiches at Quiznos, even though Quiznos is good. I should deserve, to be able to vacation and live well. There was an article talking about 50 million Americans might be having food insecurities in America. And I looked around and I was at Costco's and I was just seeing, let's just be really honest, I'm overweight currently, and I saw a lot of overweight/obese people. I'm in Texas, one of the most overweight states, especially parts of Houston. And so when I see these articles talking about people being food insecure, we are in America where food insecure means I don't get to eat what I want when I want. Let's be very clear. There was a CNBC living, making it, or I think they call it the making it. And he was making off $25,000 a year. He was doing tax preparation. Kid was smart, super smart, slept in his car for a while, slept on his brother's couch for a year, then finally got his own place, because it's the mindset that matters. He eats once a day. Now you may say, well, Erica, he could probably start making more spaghetti and make rice and beans and rice and chicken. And we live in a country where this kid is so smart. The comments underneath that video, just him being interviewed by CNBC, saying he wants to be an accountant or software engineer, saying that he spends hours researching stocks on the internet and he's put over $13,000 into his Roth IRA and has money in his Robinhood account. We live in a country where the opportunities are endless, right? You can dig your way out of this hole today. If today you woke up and you're rock bottom, the sky's the limit. It's all about your mindset, and it's about what ownership really looks like. Him owning his car looks like him being able to do Uber and Lyft to support himself income-wise. Him owning his own space, he rents his own place now, gives him a little bit more flexibility, gives him a little bit more control over his destiny. The eating once a day, I think he could probably, with $25,000, that's a tight budget for the year, especially in Baltimore, Maryland. But I have a feeling if he wanted to, he could eat twice a day. AM1 is famously known here for eating once a day. I think the problem we're having is this communication is not reaching. And I made a very clear conversation in the podcast I got interviewed on earlier, that we're sitting out here with supercomputers in our hands, and we're using those supercomputers to Google and TikTok. Like, there's a meme going on that's pretty viral. It talks about these kids will spend 72 hours playing video games, being dopamine up, just TikToking and dancing and music. And then 30 minutes into e-learning, they can't stay focused. They're tired. They're exhausted. Now you may say, well, Erica, some of these items aren't interesting to these kids. They don't care about it. And I say that's because we've dopamine them up. We've sugared them up with the food. We got them super, everything must be fun all the time attitude, and there's no balance. Even on top of that, if you want to go there, there's a lot of homes where they don't have two parents. So there's not a balance of energy. Let's just say it that way. Power and ownership stems to a more stable society. Not everybody will own a home. Not everybody will own a car. But the thought that you can buy streams of wealth, and let me clarify, streams of wealth is going to be you buying, let's say, you have your Roth IRA. Let's say you have your 401k account. It's not enough, right? Let's say you start buying gold, silver. Let's say you start buying bonds. Bonds are junk right now, but let's say you start buying bonds. Let's say you start investing in Fundrise, well, you can't do patch of land, you got to be accredited now. Several other REIT options out there. Those are going to get you 5 to 10% returns on your money. So it's going to take a while for that money to really be, huge. Same thing with Prosper and Lending Club at the moment. They don't really have huge returns at the moment for some people because they don't really offer E anymore. E was a grade that was like a risky, like subprime number. Why am I bringing this up? As I look around, we have people in America right now who are shopping and buying and living their best life and riding in RVs and riding motorcycles and buying Porsches and buying whatever. And 9 times out of 10, if you work your way back and you look through their life, they own something. Whether it's a business or a home, they own something, okay? Part of like why I'm even bringing this up is I was watching Yellowstone. I've been binging all this week. I've been super tired. You probably could tell from my earlier videos this week and some of my Instagrams. I was just exhausted. So I was staying up all night watching Yellowstone, catching up on this show. I don't watch much TV, but when my friends are having this deep conversation and I can't understand what they're talking about at dinner, I'm like, what is this show, y'all? I go and watch it, and it was the perfect example of what ownership means in 2020. This man's owning all this land and he's fighting to keep it, right? He's running a business and he's fighting to keep it. He has different struggles coming at him throughout the show. I'm not trying to give it all away, but you can watch it for yourself. And those struggles look like various things. But that's a part of owning, and him being a part of ownership, he gives people jobs. His children have wealth beyond their imagination, except for one, he's kind of hard-headed. And Yellowstone TV is that exact, what does ownership mean in 2020? Gives you the opportunity to sell if you want. Gives you the opportunity to build something if you want. The reason I use that show, and another example I want to use is Joe Budda, who is leaving Spotify, because he's been on YouTube for years, building the audience, providing high quality audio, video. He owns his platform. He owns his name. He owns the websites with him. You know how many people in here could Google a domain name for their name and it's already taken? Some people have common names and some people don't. Really, the thing that got people upset is when people started getting famous off Dr. Boyce Watkins' show, they went to go buy their domain name and they couldn't get it because someone had bought it. We'll come to find out, Dr. Boyce Watkins had bought it. This digital real estate that Brother Ben X talks about, many people are talking about in a very flashy, gossipy kind of way. I want y'all to understand that this is a really big issue for the next 5 to 10 years. If you don't own anything or have a skill that can pay you, you're going to be in a very squeezed market economy. Now, what is a squeeze mark? You're going to be working, but surviving. You're not going to be thriving. You're just going to be surviving. And if you don't use that extra income to buy streams of freedom, you'll stay in that position forever. Now, I watched this great one off of the guy that works for Dave Ramsey, the black guy. Gosh, I forgot his name. Just like that. Someone had called the show and said they had always just done whatever job they wanted. And they'd switch jobs whenever they got bored, and they would just kind of move around if they didn't like the city. And now he was 50 and he was waking up and realizing he has no savings. He doesn't own anything. And the job market is starting to get harder. What should he do? Chris Hogan, thank you. And that scared me for that man. Scared me. He's waking up and realizing his 50 to like 70s are going to be rough. He was already writing in the letter that he was worried about rent and the cost because he's always just hopped jobs when he felt like it. There really was no direction. And part of why I'm always telling you guys, if you don't plan your life, there's not much planned for you. The projections of that man being homeless is probably about 5 years away. All it'll take is one ankle roll, one knee surgery, one elbow, something happening that he can't bounce right back and go back to work. He's going to be in a world of hurt. And a lot of people are those people. Switch jobs when they want to, hop around when they want to. I am encouraging you in 2020 to own something. Even if it's your domain name for $9 for the year. Why am I saying that? Because I completely understand that many people are going to wake up to the digital economy late. I did a show and someone said, what's Lending Club? Lending Club's been around like 11 years. People have been getting loans from them. They've been in commercials. They've been on the radio. They have so much money they were going to start a bank before this whole COVID thing started. And that just shows me how big of a gap there is. And that's not even me saying I'm hyper focused on this lending club. Lending club advertising was everywhere. Part of I think it was like the shooters in Las Vegas or somebody had got a lending club loan, and that's how they were able to buy their rifle. I mean, there's a lot of times something that should be mainstream culture, people should be informed, they're not. So I understand me telling you to buy your domain name because you might be building a business and you might be working on something, or you just started a podcast. You're kind of like, whatever, Erica. When I've seen all too many times someone start something, they get famous and someone's already bought their domain name. I personally know someone who goes out and buys people's domain names off of Instagram. Buys their domain name and buys their Instagram name because they know at some point they'll come and want to buy it. They've made lots of money doing it. So I think if you're in my Rise to 20% class, we even showed you how Max Chewing doesn't even have his own name. He has all these other domain names purchased, but not his own name. Now, if somebody was able to buy it, of course, it'd be like, hey, who bought my name? Grant Cardone, prime example. He wanted GrantCardone.com. Lady wouldn't sell it to him. So he made GrantCardoneTV.com. There's something about this social digital life that you have to be looking for opportunities to own. And it may not be your own home. It may not for some of y'all. But I want you to put your footprint out here and get enough income so that you have choices. Right? Some of the emails you guys have been seeing from me, I've got Todd Capital in there and Nets Worth. I've got Andre Hatch's Mobile Notary. I've been talking about how his Mobile Notary goes off every day, like with an offer to sign something somewhere near me in Austin, near me in Pflugerville, near me in Hutto. But opportunities to increase income are there, but you can only work so many hours a day. So what is going to pay you long term that you're not physically being there every day? And part of the interview today, the guys were like, man, you got all these companies, you know. No. I know, I have them, but I have staff who work on them. I have people who are delegated to those items and those conversations and those emails and those systems and those processes. Same thing out where I'm going. Where I went to go look for land at is where the growth in that part of Central Texas is moving. And the guy was like, well, man, what did you think about this? I'm like, honey, if you're not thinking about 5 years from now, I don't even know why you're out here showing me this land. There was already an RV park somebody had put out there in a storage unit facility. I said, why do you think they put this storage unit place out here? Well, they probably got the land cheap. I said, because they expect people to build around here. They expect it to come. They expect the traffic. They built it before everybody else is there because they know this land is already being chopped up. And the best way to say it is it's 100 acres. Someone's already kind of slicing it down to 1 or 2 acre lots to sell. But back originally to my original thing about Joe Budda, when you own your name, when you own your content, when you've saved it up a terabyte somewhere, you've probably got tons of terabytes somewhere. When you've been building for years this YouTube platform, which it isn't your platform, but yours, and then someone like Charlemagne makes fun of you because now he is now leaving. He's been somewhere for 10 years. Will they continue to pay him for 10 years? No. Will he get like royalty checks for the next 10 years after leaving the Breakfast Club? No. Will Joe Budda? Yes. Everything he owns, he's going to continue to get paid off of for years. Google advertising, sponsorship. People are like, there's no ads on this thing, Eric. If you guys don't understand what ads you're seeing when you see his show, then let's have a call. Come inside my Ride 20% class and let's really break it down and talk to you. Because there's a lot of people you're watching who say, Erica, they don't got no ads. Look at what they're wearing. Look at the clothes on their back. Look at the shirts they're wearing. They didn't buy any of that. Look at the hats they keep wearing. Look at the coffee drinks they can nicely place on the table. They're marketing all over that thing. And people just don't understand that. So put yourself in the comments. Ask me some questions. I'm not going to be on here all day. I just wanted to let you know what ownership means to me in 2020 is driving into cities and states and seeing people who don't own and they're in a position to have to leave. 2020 looks like people owning their home And so what, their work didn't call them for, said they could come in for 2 months. They had a room, they had internet, they could work. What does 2020 look like ownership to me? Several people flying in from New York and other places and going, peace out. I've got money in investments, I've got money in Fundrise, I've got money in other things that I could liquidate if necessary. I could start more businesses if necessary. But ownership looks like knowing that our economy's changed. And where do you want to be in the change? That's what it looks like. And a lot of people say, well, Eric, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to provide value. Yeah. What does value mean? Prime example. There's a viral post I shared and people are like, oh, Eric, are you being rude to the North? I'm not. It's a woman saying, I don't make my kids say yes, ma'am, no, sir. I'm down here. This is some slavery S. And I laugh because I remember being in high school and those same New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut folks coming down to my Ohio. Why y'all saying yes, ma'am, and no, sir? Y'all sound stupid. That's some country mess. I'm not gonna say I don't know any Northern people who've been successful since they moved south. That'd be just a farce. That'd be gross, a gross lie. I'm gonna say it's gonna be so easy in the future for your children to stand out if they just pull their pants up, talk like they have sense, and go anywhere. Because the bar of expectations for parenthood, for how children are supposed to conduct themselves, is so low in America, just so absolutely low, that people are like, congratulations, your child even passed high school. Wow, that's so good. High school? High school is an intro course all the way through. There's nothing hard in high school. Even if your school has calculus, it's an intro course. It's a walking, talking intro course to everything. There's no deep conversation there. There's no deep classes. Now, you may say, well, Erica, my child's an AP. I'm not talking about your child. I was an AP too. I'm talking about the general courses that are taught in high school right now, public high school, are very basic. The average American has a reading level of the 8th grade. So when someone tells me, well, I'm not going to make my kids do this or that, you are expressing that you are going to participate in the low expectations. And the people in the future who just have the bare minimum are going to be winning, right? What is value? Value is being of service to others. Being of service. Someone said, well, Eric, I'm going to make money off being valuable and I'm going to bring value to people. But what are you going to do? There has to be some service attached to that. I was trying to explain to the people in the interview that I'm a super connector, that I try my best to connect people to people that can help them. Hey, you want to go work with Terry? Here's Terry. Hey, you want to go work with Todd? Here's Todd. Hey, you need to learn more about stocks. Here's Annette. Here's Andre Hatchett. I try to connect people because that is a service. It's providing value so that that person's able to go on and provide value to, that person provides them value, and then it's a circle of life, whatever. But I was making that point because the bar is so low for expectations of adulthood. Prime example, I go out of the house and I see people in pajamas. First thing I'm thinking is, are they sick? Did they just come out of surgery? Are they injured? Do they have a groin injury? Maybe they can't put on pants. There's something wrong. Maybe something's wrong that they're in pajamas. Now, when I was in college, people wore pajamas all the time. It was hilarious. And then we had professors going, it's 11 o'clock in the afternoon. You still have on pajamas? That's gross. And I laughed about it a little bit, but then I look back and go, yeah, that is pretty gross. Value can be, for a lot of people out there who are saying they're giving value, they're giving very bare minimum. And you can be better. You don't have to be less. Because providing value will get you more ownership in 2020. And that's the long argument I have. But I'm going to read some of you guys' comments, and I'm not going to be in here all day, but I'm just definitely going to check out your comments. I just want to share that with you because some people just have no clue what I mean when I talk about ownership, when I talk about, you gotta do something with yourself. And there's people still working. Everything I've said on this channel, people may not come back and apologize to me, and I'm okay with that. But everything I said is still stands true. Places are open. States are opening back up. We're going to go to school. We're playing football. I just watched Arkansas versus K-State, and they beat K-State, which is amazing. We're playing football. We're doing it. We're doing everything. We're at the public schools. Everything I said, we're doing. Airbnb has been off the chain in Texas since this whole thing has started. It's been off the chain in South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. Real estate is booming all over the United States. Why? Because people with money are still working. People with skills are still working. People who have money and live in California and New York are like, where can I go invest this money so it can be productive? Ohio, Cleveland, Midwest, Wyoming, wherever. Let me make this money be productive. So what I said still rings true. Still gonna be people buying houses. The real estate prices haven't gone down. Oh my God, they've gone up. Oh my God. But what about apartments? Apartments should be going down. Oh, they went down 1%. Okay. So again, I study this stuff enough. I read about this stuff enough. I go on Barron's every day in my morning, and that's barrons.com. You guys can definitely go check them out. And I educate myself on it. So, here we go. Let me read some of what you're got here. Mindset and execution is key. These are facts. Facts. Good evening, my people. The spirit of a TikTok and attention seeking is real. Please give that person a round of applause because this is absolutely true. Now, so Gen Z, I've actually talked about this. I've talked about this in a couple videos previous, that you should basically, what's going to go up? The cost of food, the cost of a couple things, but let's just say focus because you're talking about food. The cost of food is going to go up because you have right now millions of acres, probably close to like 15 million acres in Idaho that's been completely destroyed. Yes, you've had the wildfires in California, but you had problems in Iowa, which is the #1 pork producer, #1 for several things, and it just has been destroyed. And I did a whole video on that. You can go back and check on the channel. We did a whole video on that. I even talked about the fact that you have China's purchased $5.6 billion in food, acreage, pork, up and down the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia corridor, farms. So we're going to have a lot of food leaving us. We pay farmers not to farm. We have farmers whose farms have been destroyed. And we're going to go back to a very localized market. Now, the trucks are going to keep moving. For sure. But I'm starting to get, just as a transportation company, $1,000 to go three hours. $1,000 to go 4 hours from Houston to Dallas, Houston to here, because the FEMA and the support aid and the high rates going out of the state, everybody's chasing that. So that localized driving that you think would be taken up by the smaller market is not. So yes, food prices are going to go up. If HEB is paying me $1,000 to take something from Houston to Dallas, when it usually would only be $4.55, it's going, that cost is passed on to you, the buyer, not me. I'm just here to collect the check for the truck. That's why when people say, well, trust me, I'm in transportation and I'm seeing the numbers, and we've built a society where if these trucks don't run, we don't eat. We die. Because we won't have gas, we won't have water, we won't have clean water. If a truck stops running for 4 weeks, you're talking about a disease-ridden country with no fresh water, no medical supplies, and no gas. So I just know what I know. And so people can say whatever they want, but yes, am I concerned? Yes. I'm concerned enough that I think, oh my God, we're going to collapse. And no, I'm not. What I'm concerned with is people letting go of jobs that aren't coming back and moving into a skill space where they can survive. Like, there's an article talking about people returning back to being hipsters. Like, we're all turning into hipsters. CNBC article. It's kind of funny, but it's true. All these people now want to know about how to make stuff, and they got so much time home with their kids. They're making beeswax, and then they're buying bees to add onto their extra property space. They're doing victory gardens. What we would consider a victory gardener. That's what they're doing. Gardening through pots and everything. But that's because of the news. That's because they take that energy and put it into the ground. So again, if I was someone who was not who I am, I'd be like, oh my God, make sure you do community supported agriculture, because if not, you might not get no food this fall. You better stack up your deep freezer. People innately are smart enough to see what's going on and see the destruction of food and know, I better go stock up my deep freezer. So yeah. No, most of our resources do come from America, but we have set out a lot of processing to Mexico, Canada, and China, unfortunately. A lot of the food processing is still here. It's still in China. I mean, it's still here in California and North Carolina and South Carolina and Georgia, but not at the levels that they should be. Oh, no, it jumped. Hold on. Let's see where. Side hustle's about to be gone. Robots putting together IKEA furniture, cooking, and delivering food right now. So there is this, in part of the Middleman to Millions course, I'm going to start showing them this week how I spent a week, like me and the guy on staff, my VA on staff did it, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. And we were just looking at Facebook groups and we just kept posting like, hey, looking for, guy who do remodeling, good reviews. He's got some pictures of his work. We kept putting in different Facebook groups. We kept putting in different Craigslist ads. And we started getting people who were handyman, but they had a Wix site. Handyman, but they had like a one-pager. Handyman, but they had a Facebook page with all these pictures showing their before and afters. So people are starting to get hip that I've got to show my work. I can't just show up at a door and say I can do good work. I've got to have a portfolio of work so this woman will trust me, have my insurance present so she can take my insurance or his insurance and send him to a job to do at a remodeling site where I never step foot in this person's house. I send this man that I met off the internet that showed me pictures he can do the work over to the house. That's how like they've got it. I better start showing work. I better put a website together because there's squeeze points in the marketplace. Now, will there always be people to flip burgers, cooking, delivering food? Yes. There's something about a person being in your home cooking. As much as we love to say our society is so advanced past this, we don't live in communal settings anymore. And what is communal settings? We used to have bigger houses, like the boarding house style. Did you see these old 1920s, 30s houses? They got 4 and 5 rooms. You got all your extra sisters who are Spencers living there, helping you cook, clean, feed these kids, chase these kids, teach these kids. We don't have that anymore. We have a lot of these Spencer ladies and forever bachelor men out here in society not being useful. Let's just call it what it is. And so they're going to have to find a use. So there'll still always be a nanny. The young lady that delivers food to my office. I haven't been to the grocery store in 4 months. I tried to go the other week and I almost had a panic attack. I was like, I don't even know. I gotta wear a mask the whole time. I gotta walk around. It's hot in here. Like I was like, I gotta go. I can't do it because they don't have time. It was like midnight, right? TV trying to run around and find stuff. It's ridiculous. She is now nannying for 8 kids. A family has 8 kids and she's their nanny. So I can't go to the store, but I have another friend. He goes to stores for people too. The richer people over here on the side of town too. He can go to the store for you. This dude went to the store, and I kid you not, every item he took a picture with his hand. He could have been a hand model. He was like, this is it, this is it, this is this. And of course, paid him for that, paid him $40 fee on top of it. Calm. Didn't have to go to the grocery store for my house, didn't have to go to the grocery store for my office. Perfect. There will always be squeeze points in the marketplace for people to work. Handsome guy, he was good looking, tall black guy, super nice. And imagine doing that a couple times a day. I mean, you're talking about $200. If you do that 5 times a day today, you're talking about $200 in service fees and then whatever else people tip you. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity in the marketplace. That's all I'm saying. Hello, Radiance Music. Honey, that majority of my calls, maybe 2 years ago after I went on O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel, were men who were, oh man, I'm tired of being a security guard. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of doing that. You know, I'm 50, my back hurts. And you're having a conversation with them and they really are truly trying to figure out the later 40, 20 years, you know, like no one at 55 is like, I'm gonna live 45 more years. Like they're starting to go, I might be out here 20 plus more years, 20, 30. Kevin Samuels the other day was like, I'm gonna get me a 3rd wife. She's got to be good for 20 years, 20, 30 years. Same thing. Glenn and Cameron, 52? Had a heart attack. I'm going to have more children and get married again. This is the nature of people. Trust me. That's part of their retirement plan. Whether they ever say it or not, having someone look after them, having someone cook for them, having young children running around the house, making them feel active is part of their retirement plan. Say what it will, say what it will. Hey, Glendon, if you see the channel. I buy domains, blue, yeah. I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to say this, and this is not ugly. It's not being funny. I've actually gone on Instagram with a particular person. We looked up all these people who are trying to grow their brand. I'd say about 15 out of the 30 we looked at didn't even have their own domain name. Their personal name, like their name.com. And you know what I said? I said, let's buy their name.com because they're going to know it. Some of their names are so unique, not like Aisha Selden, but you know what I'm saying? Some of their names are unique like that. And I was like, who bought my name? You should be buying your name. There you go. They tell you in the planning commissions where the money is going. And even right now, like part of the road I'm using where my shop is, I mean, I already know all the companies. I mean, right now, Fleet Seek, about 7,000 companies. We're going to have a kid in here calling all day long, booking appointments, setting people up, come by, visit the property. We'd love to have you for long-time storage, blah, 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 all day long. All day long. There's a reason the phones work because they work. Joe Budden made a whole video that just went viral, right? And like I wouldn't even know who the Breakfast Club. Y'all, let me tell y'all how far removed I am from culture. I don't even know who the Breakfast Club was until the Dame Dash thing went viral, and they were making fun of it. And I'm watching the whole thing, laughing, going, "He's absolutely right. He's rude right now, but you can come off rude and you can come off harsh, as people say in the comments all the time. Erica, you're so harsh." When you're sitting here trying to help people realize that there is a change here and you're about to get left behind, and I'm opening the door. Come on. And you know, I realized everybody ain't gonna come. Everybody ain't gonna come. Everybody ain't gonna make it. And that's okay. We have to realize that. But if you go back and you watch that Joe Budden, the last couple weeks have been absolute fire. And it's just him being transparent with what's going on in business. It's hard out here. I'd agree. Yep. Respect to elders. That's a big thing for me. Honey, when she said that, I was so concerned. Politeness is slavery now. I really can't with these anti-respectability politics people. And that's a whole conversation where they're like, well, Martin Luther King was wearing suits and they didn't beat him up. Suits were normal then. That's just what you went out the house with. You wore slacks every day. That's like wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt. I'm really serious. If you go back and look at your parents, your grandpa, he put on a button up for the day. He put on slacks. Blue jeans didn't become popular till like the 60s, late 60s. Like, and people wearing overalls because they were jean material and they felt great. People look at them like they was crazy. Like, why are you wearing these overalls? Most people are like, because they're comfortable. Y'all just don't know. Like, when people say these things, you have to really look at what they're talking about, the time period. They don't know what they're talking about. Wearing a suit and the police hitting you, it wouldn't have mattered. Everybody wears suits. Everybody wears button-ups. Everybody wears slacks back then. Everybody wore shiny church shoes all day long. Your mom dressed up, your grandma dressed up, what we would consider dressed up. That's how they dressed. One time I was in this event with the Kappa, and it's so funny how Fayetteville is such a unique place that produced a lot of famous people. The guy now is super famous on Instagram, and he's actually been in the news. And I can say his name, but I don't want that black boat right over. He wore a suit one day to class, and I said, "Man, look at you so dressed up." "I'm not dressed up. This is everyday wear." Now, he was a little bit in too much of it. He was doing too much, and I was like, "All right, whatever, dude." And then I saw him on the news in New York, him and a bunch of other black men wearing suits and brushing their beards and getting famous in the newspaper for it. I thought it was hilarious, but that's because we're especially in New York, let's be honest, y'all out there wearing Timberlands with everything. The bar is so low for expectations that when you see someone in a suit, it's like, ooh. There's a thing our group of friends does, it's called Suit Saturdays. We do Scotch and Suit Saturdays. The guys would wear a suit and the girls would wear a little black dress. We try to wear a black dress and put our heels on. And we would go out and people would be like, hey, do you work for the Congress? Do you work for the Capitol? Because again, we're in Austin, Texas. The Capitol is on the main party street. Do you guys work for the Capitol? Did you come from a Capitol meeting? No, we're just dressing up. We're just having a suit Saturday. Oh, that's nice. That's cool. And we would get so much attention and so much eyes over there, and all the guys in the group would be all, it was crazy. But it was because our norm in Austin is very casual. Our norm in society is very like, just to have a grown man have his pants pulled up and wear shoes that aren't sneakers, you're like, I remember this trend. Let me see if y'all remember this trend where guys would wear, it'd be like, what's that shirt? Oh, goodness. Oh, blue jeans, a white button up, and the overcoat. You know what I'm saying? The blazer jacket. And they have some nice shoes on. And this girl was like, I'm so sick of seeing that. I'm like, girl, I'm so grateful to see it. They at least are trying. It's a look, but they're trying. It's a casual biz casual. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, put a 1 in the comments or say you know what I'm talking about. Blue jeans, the dress shoes, business dress shoes, a white shirt button up, and then they'd have a blazer on. Like the blazer would either be blue or a blazer would be tan. It never was the same color as the blue jeans usually. That was a look. It just was. And so the bar's so low, and that's what people don't understand. The bar is just so low right now. So when people say, oh, respectability politics, I'm like, yeah. It's so dirty. So dirty. Elegant plumber, hey, listen, that's a start. That's all that matters. Look, come on. Did you pick that up? I didn't want to go there, but did you pick that up? How I told you. I know everybody was, oh, you know what you're talking about, Erica. I'm not naming no names, but several people said I didn't know what I was talking about. I said, these people are going to go out the house and they're going to have a summertime. They're going to be booking boats. They're going to be booking Airbnbs. They're going to be out here living their best life. Right now, I cannot even book any of the hotels in Alaska where I wanted. They all booked. They booked up. The tickets were sold out. Sold out. So when people are sitting here like, oh, I'm like, no, it's busy. It's booked and busy. Some of the spots are not, but a lot of them are. Highway traffic up, right? Lots of stuff way up. Wyoming never closed. It never shut down. Jackson Hole, all these places, they're going to be the #1 places booked for ski resorts. Park City, Utah, already booked up. I started trying to book places. Toronto, already booked up, trying to book for skiing with a group next year. People are going, the closer we get to this election, what they think is going to happen is, I'm going to tell you what they think. They think Donald Trump is being nice and doing all this peddling because he might not win. But when he wins, he's going to be like, F these masks, do what you want. I really do. I feel like he's going to be like, all right, well, I won, so now let's do whatever. If Biden wins, honey, I have a plan B. If we have a Biden win, I ain't gonna say what I think on that, but I have a feeling what's gonna happen. So we'll have a lot more people going to jail. Cost of lumber. Tell them, Jay Prince. Come on now. Come on, you got to tell them because they don't believe us when we sit here and tell you. You can look at the Airbnb. They booked up. And Austin is booked up. I tried to go do a little staycation downtown. Booked up. Booked all the way up. Appearance matters in the real world. You don't have to be GQ, but the ratchet style only works on TV. BET delivered our people. There, I said it. I'm telling you, I've actually been places where a black man just had on his slacks and a button up and walked in. We were at Chipotle or something. And I looked back and I was like, hello. And it was like, it was like, you're going to get more attention because of. Listen, I just sent an email out. No, that's scheduled. That's not out yet. And telling people, do you need some resume help? You better call your girl. Don't be out here looking crazy on LinkedIn. I don't know why Miss Stephanie ain't finished my LinkedIn yet, but y'all good on her, okay? Y'all harass her in the comments right now. So she got to fix my LinkedIn because it matters. It matters, and you're out here talking about your raising funds, and your LinkedIn looks terrible. Don't have me out there like that, Stephanie. Generation TikTok better get their minds right. There was a fight at North Park Mall in Dallas, and they shut down the entire mall because these people have been cooped up in the house. Listen, if you knew what I knew, I've been making the girl who buys the groceries where I don't go to the grocery store. I've been buying like beans and bags of beans and bags of rice and bags of beans and certain things that go into the freezer. I made her buy like 15 cans of sardines and all this other stuff. And she was like, "Are you going somewhere? Are you going on a camping trip? Why you got all these beans? What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm working on something. I'm working on just in case I want to stack up. I got the fresh meat here in this area, but I need you to stack it up." Oh yeah, American citizens in Dallas that work in our factories. I mean, here's the thing. When I meet Black people in Dallas who say they ain't no work here, they gotta move, I'm like, where you at? Drive 2 minutes across town. There's opportunity all over Dallas. Dallas still has a lot of manufacturing, but I don't want people dependent on that forever. 8 kids, listen, 8 kids. I think she had said of twins twice. And they adopted one. I can't remember what it was. After a certain number of kids, they almost watching each other. From the when I had friends with a lot of family, they were almost watching each other. Honey, listen, we had men can do this, and women do this, but not as often because the years of when they do get married. But yeah, you'll meet somebody they had a baby young, they jumped into the military, they were married, had some more kids, then they got divorced, and they won't get married again in their 50s. So now you got kids that are 18 and they want to get married to a younger wife and start again. I mean, that's like, look, sir, there's enough of you. Like we have enough of you in society. Give some other people a turn. Even right now, I have a nephew that is 25 competing to be in the Olympics because my brother is 8 years older. I have a niece who is, she's doing law school. She's 23, she's pregnant. So I'm going to be a great aunt in my young 30s because my brother was 8 years older and started young. My sister has 2 kids. Okay, my younger brother hasn't started, thank God, but he's going to start here soon. And so even in my history, my grandma, my oldest aunt is 75. My youngest aunt is 50. And my grandma was married multiple times. Okay. So in the region where she's at, like our family has a lot of land. So she didn't have a shortage of husbands. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But yeah, people do that. People get married multiple times. I have cousins who are like 50s in their 50s, and an aunt who's in her 50s. It happens, trust. Lots of apps, gauges, and gaps. ARC saw he was 10 years from being old and immobile. Who's ARC? Who's ARC? I want to go Google that person now. Listen, Brittany, they'll do it. They'll do Apple Mac. The Glendon gonna do it. So is Kevin Samuels. Oh, thank you so much, Laura Avers. Thank you for $20 super chat. If you have no intention, pause, using or purpose or whatever, using your own name as a domain name, should you establish that domain name? It depends. If you don't have any ideals or nothing you think you're gonna do, don't do it. But I'm saying if you're someone who's starting to go out and produce something or do something, you might want to do that. Thank you. They wore suits to baseball games and danced in wingtips, marched in wingtips. Listen, don't happy holidays, people. You better say Merry Christmas. In Texas alone, they decorate for Christmas for like 7 weeks, like 2 weeks into January, and then they start 2 weeks before No, before Thanksgiving. Yeah. Usually by the time they do a turkey trot here, all the Congresses. So when I mean all the Congresses, I mean, if you're Wilco County, they decorate the old 1920 building. If you're in Sampson County, like they have a whole area, they do the whole area decorated with Christmas trees. The Southern way of living is a little bit slower. There's a little expectation of at least common courtesy, small talk, and people just don't like that. Honey, Dame Dash. If Dame Dash, and again, I put this in Classy Climb, and everybody's like, I wouldn't argue with a billionaire. I'm not arguing with a billionaire. I'm just saying, in hindsight 2020, if Dame Dash would have done a few things a little bit different, I mean, billionaire status. Because Jay-Z's biggest claim to fame is like, well, if you made Jay-Z, make another one. And it's almost like, oh, Dame Dash couldn't really make another one. Again, because you'll never be the same man again, and you'll never be in the same river again. Just like if people say, well, Erica, what would you do if you lost it all? Well, I really wouldn't lose it all. There's like so many branches to fall back down. But if I had, that's why I made that video. I would just boop, 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 start another website, start another business, start another this, start another that, start getting people off Facebook, start, again, providing value. I'd be having people go to remodeling jobs and fencing jobs. And then once I stacked up about 10, 20 grand, then I would deploy again into real estate. I would just build it all back up. It's really the way to do it. A lot of people have gone broke and made their money back in this recession right now, and y'all don't even know it. Thank you. Tell them denim was considered manual labor clothes. And it wasn't until James Dean in that movie, and what's the other guy? Marlon Brando, started wearing them in the 60s that it became like, I can wear jeans and it'd be cool. It wasn't just for work. Man, they Tim's in the boardroom, Tim's outside, they just stomping all over the place. I mean, it's a culture, and I respect it. I mean, I think it's funny. I saw this girl who took like pictures of people's Timbs on the train or something on Instagram, and I was like, what's the point of this? Like her whole Instagram is like Timberland boots. It's weird. Honestly, without a doubt, I will tell y'all, I really do think this man is suffering from dementia. I watched an interview where him and Barack Obama were speaking to each other, and even Barack Obama, like a couple different times, was like, yeah, and finished Joe's sentence, and I thought that's sad. There are, you can go look it up right now. There are things you can have on the side of your bra, side of your leg, inside your girdles, on the side of your back. There's all kinds of places to hide a gun. Sports coat, yes. Oh yeah, I mean, San Antonio is very spaced out, so yeah. Skinny guys wear vest and jeans. Yep. Dark blue. College dropout. There it is. That's what it was. People hated that look on young black guys for whatever reason. I thought it was cute. Look, I'm telling you. Belize and the coffee farm. Yeah. Belize was the cacao farm. The coffee farm was in Panama. So, but they're same owner, same company. Some of the California hotels I booked for only 60% capacity due to COVID laws. They have to leave a certain number of rooms empty for rotation or face fines. That's ridiculous. Because most businesses, the more people, so it's a combination. If you have 80% of people in the room, like I'm gonna teach y'all right real quick business. If you have 80% of people in the rooms, out of that 80%, 20% of that 80% are gonna eat downstairs, buy stuff, buy all kind of stuff, extend their room stay, request room service, all that good stuff. So with this Rona, what you're doing is really messing with people's 20%. Prime example, the truck place that I am, Texas Ground Zero. If we have just 100 trucks, right? It has enough space for 344. But if we have 100 trucks, the 10% rule. Out of 100, 10 of them will need some type of service at the main truck repair part. 10 of them will, 80-20 rule. Out of the 100, 25 to 30 guys will go eat from the food trucks. They'll eat at the corner. They'll do all these things. It's all 20-20 rule, 20-80 rule. And so when you start messing with people's capacity limits, a lot of these restaurants can't survive on 50% capacity. They need at least 70% for the food numbers and the cost of staff. And like, if you start seeing rounds of drinks go around, it's a contagious thing, right? It's like when fajitas go through a Mexican restaurant. Now everybody orders fajitas. There's a reason they do the things they do. So whenever you own a business, that's why the parking lot in front of the business is so important, because you're doing a rule of 100 parking spaces. Okay, I'm gonna get 10% of them, which 10% isn't a lot. So you need to depend on what your business is. You need to be able to make it. It just is what it is. 1995 crime bill. I think ownership means yes, I agree. Any ideas on place to vacation? It just depends on what your feeling is. For me, I'm going to Vermont and Maine. Those are always beautiful places to drive to see the leaves color change. I'm going to Wyoming because I got stuck on the Yellowstone show and saw cabins that have great views. I'm going by the Grand Teton. I was going to go really into Yellowstone, but they had some fires there. I'm visiting a brother in Portland, Oregon. I'm going to Seattle, Washington. I wanted to go to Vancouver, but Canada is being open to us. Then only other option to go south is Cabo for me. Cabo and Antigua as far as safe. Tulum is really popular right now. You can get a flight from Houston to the Tulum for $166, right? And they're counseling 80,000 American Airlines flights. So what I'm trying to tell people is, if you want to book your flights now while they're $100, some of those flights are going to have to obligate or move you to another flight or move you to first class. There's a lot they're going to be doing in the fall. Listen, there's some people need to find a whole husband or wife before the winter. There are people getting married downtown Austin outside at this one park over and over every day. People keep posting it on Instagram, and I'm like, yep. All the wedding venues. When I told y'all last year all the wedding venues were booked up for the year in Austin and surrounding counties, Wimberley, what's that place where the wine is at? Driftwood. Oh gosh, all these places were booked up for the year. And then they just shuffled some of them around, and they're keeping like the fall schedule because it's so damn hot in Texas that if you have a wedding in November, let's be honest, November, December outside, it's a win. It's like, oh, we're going to wear our winter coats and our cowboy boots, and we're going to take pictures. Like, people love it. They love it. So they're not going to stop people in Texas from doing that. SM, we already talked about that on yesterday's show. Go back and watch yesterday's show. We already talked about that. Alan Roger Curry. Did he get married? I can't remember. Listen, again, when I'm going to be just very honest. I go to a lot of banquet dinners and Urban League events. There's always some 55-year-old black man who's like, hey, what's up, girl? Because, they're trying to have the old man happy life. They got a younger wife, 20 freaking years plus, younger than them. They're living the good life, and they have kids, little kids. But to me, I'd want my kids to grow up having a father that was healthy, active, and viral, like fit, can walk around, can do stuff. Plus, sometimes black men don't live long. Y'all be just kicking the bucket at 65. People can't. What's the point of getting married at 55? You're going to die in 10 years. What am I going to do with these kids? But that's important what you said. It's very good. Black hipsters, I'm not certain because I did not get to see the schedule for the Las Vegas convention this year. I don't think they're going to have it, but I would love to hear, here's my thing. If Biden comes into office, no, we're going to be there. We lock it up, Susie. If Trump stays in office, the places, which, I could schedule a whole show talking about cannabis, but really the thing of it is needing money. Like, let me just go ahead and write it down for myself. I'm going to do a cannabis and casino show this week. Why? Because I just saw a map of where they just approved 100 casinos. And all that is like vice money. Vice money will always pay. It's terrible. But I've been in conversation with people over real estate in these areas. But casinos and cannabis. We'll do a show later this week on it. So thank you for that. Black hipsters, get yourself on the email list or get yourself on the text list so you don't miss that show. I saw it. He just got married, huh? What she look like? What she look like? The I'm only saying that because they love when they bull ass stories. But anyway, yeah, the whole relationship space to me is a little bit weird at this point on YouTube. A lot of people are advocating that people, and let's just be honest, antisocial behavior. Don't date nobody. Live at home. Live by yourself. Let's just be alone in a cave. Like, no, no, that's weird. That's weird. That's, I mean, even in prison, it's against the law to lock them up in 24-hour cages without 1 hour breaks or some type of human interaction because they go crazy. They literally mentally after 2 months go crazy. Documented, go crazy. Our bodies, our minds, our souls are not meant to live in isolation. So when people tell you, I ain't never marrying, I ain't never dating, I ain't never touching nobody, I ain't never marrying a woman, I ain't never having kids, like, I'm already ready for you to go get your medicine because you're already drifting to psychosis. You're drifting to a very concerning place. And with that, this isn't my sponsor, but I love talking about them. Talkspace.com. Go ahead and book yourself to talk with a therapist online, in video. Help yourself, Talkspace.com. One day they'll be my sponsor. Not so much Joe Rogan. This COVID exposed in California. What's the point of California when you don't have conferences, when you don't have big music events, Coachella and all that stuff, when you can't see, movie stars on the red carpet, you can't be like an extra on set somewhere, you can't do these side hustles and gigs. What is California when you're stuck in 2 hours of traffic and you're isolated? It's overrated. I mean, and this isn't me saying this, like you can go look at, I think there's like 100 videos about people leaving California because of COVID, because it's just like, what is California if there's nothing to do? What is California when there's no music, there's no this, there's no that? Like, what am I paying for? It's the same thing as New York. When there's no Broadway, there's no tourists, there's no nothing, there's no cool restaurants, you can't eat inside. What is this place? Texas. What is Texas if there's no barbecue? What is Texas if you can't go outside and eat and drink margaritas and have taco parties? Which taco party is the 50% off code for the weekend. If you want any of the courses on the website, taco party, put in one word, taco party. It's going to be packed because I had to describe to someone today that it's not that Tesla coming is the wave. The 1,000 companies that want to be in proximity to Tesla is the wave. And I'm going to do a whole video on that, talking about proximity businesses, right? How businesses have moved here just to be close to another business, because you're in a marketplace where if I can go, a YouTuber can go to banquets and dinners. And one time I paid $5,000 to be at this damn dinner, but it was worth it. And everybody in that room is big, giant company owners and millionaires. The marketplace is smaller. It's smaller. You're going to bump into each other more frequently. You're going to be able to work with those people more frequently. You're going to be able to send a sales guy over there. The proximity principle is at play. That's why people are coming to California. We're going to be packed regardless whether Joe Rogan gets here. Alex Jones makes the place packed. He really is. Stephen. It's funny because it's true. It's such a culture. Brazil is opening up. It really is. It is, but it isn't. Now let me explain why. There's levels to this. A lot of times you hear people say a phrase on the internet, it's like, own nothing, control everything. There is owning or having access to bank accounts and all the like movement inside the bank account that other companies will go, oh my God, all that movement inside your bank account. How can we help you? Come on in. And when people start trying to remove themselves or make themselves a director or marketing or something, a manager over the process, they kind of pull some of the power away from that. Now, there's a whole conversation in that, and I shouldn't even have started it, but there is power in some ownership, right? Several people were able to get their homes and different things, bigger loans closed on because they had so many assets under their name. You don't always have to have them under your name, but there's reasons it helps. There's levels to it. Exactly. Which Florida game? Which Florida school? There you go. They just proved a casino right out of Charlotte. They also have one outside of Dansville, Virginia coming. They got them about a bunch of places. Trust me. And the only reason that's a big issue in North Carolina is because the Lumbee Indians right on North I-95 where I'm from want the casino there. They want to be approved. They want to get federal recognition and they want a casino. It'll bring nothing but drama and pain, but they do want it. The one in Charlotte is if the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians are not attached to it, that's gonna be some drama. But yeah. Yes, for sure. And when Nelson Rockefeller talked about that, you also have to think about it from the perspective, in theory, that he was the puppet master behind the strings of other smaller businesses. Again, this is the main business, Smoothie King, but Smoothie King's controlling the fruit stand down the street and the other person and this person around the corner and controlling them all, right? That's the Rockefeller's theory. That you could read more on them, but like how the West was won, or Dale Carnegie, the men who built America per se, they had arm hand control on several businesses that were not even theirs. But they would do what? Loan money to that business owner. So now that business owner was indebted to them and had to do their will. And if they didn't, then they crushed their business. It happens. Yes, exactly. Suicides were up. The equivalent of suicides for a month was what we have for a year. Unfortunately, in our society, we have a lot of people who, if they don't go to work and talk to their coworkers and talk to the guy on the way to the Starbucks or make small talk at the gas station, they have no one to talk to. Because we're not in a communal society where everybody has to speak to each other. And communal means 150 people to 200, or it means a town of 1,000. Like everybody would precisely know each other. Not really. I think ownership is important. I think depending on what they do with the town is important, what businesses they bring to it. Now I'm gonna say this, Big Pat Mellon, people can call me a hater. Young people between 23 and 25, if you ever 28, if you ever talk to them, the idea of dating someone over 35 seems ancient. You ever talk to a 23-year-old dating a 30-year-old? They're like, oh yeah, girl, he's so old, but it's okay. 9 times out of 10, when you meet somebody who's late 20s and they're marrying somebody in their 50s, I'm gonna say this, I'm being careful. I would like to see what her father had to say about her marrying him. Oh, she might not have a father. I don't know that, but I'm just saying. 9 times out of 10, these people don't have dads. Financial situation is not the greatest. And this is a come up in more ways than one. This is a stability move. It's not disrespectful. This is what marriages usually used to be over. I'm just saying 9 times out of 10, when I met this guy who said, oh, he doesn't date divorced women. He doesn't date them. Then he wanted to date this girl who was 28 she was 25 with a kid. I said, so you'll date a baby mama, but not a divorced woman. What? So people out here making up their own rules, but 9 times out of 10, when you meet somebody who's of a certain age, going more than 10 years up. So I'm not saying she's ugly. I ain't say that. I'm not saying she's fat. I ain't saying any of those things. A 28-year-old would be happier to date a 38-year-old to marry him than go all the way up 20, 30 years. Just saying. Not hate, just saying. Yeah, I saw where they would levy a tax on you for 10 years or something in California. And to me, that's the death knell for California. If you're going to tax people because they leave for 10 years, then they really never get free of California. I mean, for real. Honey, when somebody's 25 saying stuff like that, I just go, they don't have friends or they don't have the confidence to get what they want, and I feel sorry for them mostly. Tamara Sharp. Okay, microphone, I see you. Thank you for that $10 super chat. Come on out, girl. Come on out. The Catawbas. Yes. Good. So, okay, if you don't know, I'm from North Carolina, and I have a tribal card. I will not go further into that, but essentially there are 9 state recognized tribes in North Carolina. And well, technically it'd be 10, but we're gonna leave it at 9. And there's one called Persons of Indian County. They're the darkest. Husky Indians are another, very light. Saponi are kind of very black near Durham. I could go into a whole conversation about the clouded history of Black and Indian in North Carolina, but I won't. But if it's the Catawba, like, whoa, somebody got a senator in their pocket. I don't know who, but somebody done went and made friends. Okay, that's a swing up. Out of all the tribes, if I was listening, Catawba would be like at the bottom. Like, nah, Waccamaw would be below them. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. I'm just, listen, I'm not knocking. I'm just saying in the society we have today, you'd have to, like, one of our friends is 50 and he likes to date younger. And the people are like, well, you don't make enough. You know what I mean? And not in a disrespectful, but for there was the type of, I'm trying to say it's nice. There was a socialite girl whose family is wealthy in cattle. They own a bunch of cattle, hundreds of cattle in a southern part of Texas. And he was trying to date her in his 50s. And everybody's like, she's a daughter of a cattleman. She's only 25. She can find a 35-year-old wealthy rancher and go sit down. She doesn't have to go up higher. She has value. So I'm saying, like, you literally have to be 50 something dating, and every situation I know of, even the 2 business owners where the man was 50 and she was 20, they didn't even acknowledge each other. I mean, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna go down this road, but I'm just gonna say they don't really be out there like that. It does happen. And some of these older guys that talk on these shows, like, yeah, I'm dating this girl, but if you really ask, are y'all Facebook official? Does she post pictures of you? Does she show you to her friends? Like, or are you the guy that pays for her dinner and drinks and weekends in Miami? Let's call a spade a spade. Right. Dante, if the man says that, I'm gonna have to believe it. That's what I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna just have to believe it. All right, bought the tax lien course with Labor Day discount. Thanks for the great content. Thank you for supporting the channel. What is going on with you, Mr. Tangeray? Mr. Tangeray. Sir. Yep, Halawasa Pone. Yep. So yeah, I mean, that's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm gonna leave that alone. But there's 289 people here. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. We've been 1 hour and 8 minutes in. I got to go. I got to get up out this office. I was only visiting briefly after looking at the land because it was so hot outside today. I hope y'all have a great day. I hope you get ready to own something. I hope you make good decisions today. Find something that you can invest in and do long-term business with. It doesn't have to make $1 million right off the back. As long as it's producing in a positive direction, you're winning. And that's what a lot of people don't believe. Congratulations. Somebody just bought a domain now. Listen, honey, I heard a man call the show one time, O'Shea Duke Jackson, talking about he was 40 years old and he ain't got no money. And how do you keep it casual? These women, we want to be my girlfriend. And I ain't got no money. Y'all, like, he was really adamant that he didn't have no money. I'm just going to be very clear. if you in your 40s and 50s, you are running out of time to do your big move. If your big move in 10 years is children, you need to kind of wrap that up. If you're in your 50s and if you just get 2 rentals, 1 or 2 rentals, you are head and feet above many people. Even if it just brings in, let's say both rentals bring in about 600 a piece after everything's said and done, and you get about 1,200 a month, that's still more than most. That's all I'm saying. So, congratulations, thanks. How do I know? Listen, I used to campaign and do certain things in North Carolina a long time ago, many moons ago, different person. But again, the fishing pond, once you start having a business and pay taxes somewhere and own land somewhere, the pond is small. It's small. It's very small. So anyway, all right, guys, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb Blog. I gotta get out of here. You guys have a good day.